Today, head to your favorite craft store, pick up some supplies because we are making some really fun DIYs that I have never made before. My name is Courtney. Let's get crafting. Grab some air dry clay for this project. Now, I do have Model Magic. I like to use that for like fake marshmallows, tiny projects, but for a project like this where we are going to make a custom tray, you want to get a good quality air dry clay. And I like the Sculpey brand. Another brand I like is the DIYS, DIYS. So I highly recommend getting a good brand of air dry clay. I'm going to pull out just kind of a big hunk of this, roll it into the bowl, and then I'm going to start rolling it out. I want this to be a circular tray, so I'm going to roll it out with a Dollar Tree rolling pin. And then I just kind of looked around my craft room to find something that I could use to kind of cut this out. And I saw a coaster that honestly was going to be perfect. So I just pressed that coaster down into the clay to get my shape. But you can use whatever you want to use. You just want to make sure that whatever shape you use, that you do form a little bit of an edge all the way around your piece of clay. Now you're going to want to clean up any little imperfections. I like to use a baby wipe to help me with this. Sometimes I'll dip my finger in water. I don't know if that's the proper way to do that with clay. I'm not an expert when it comes to clay. I do like to work with it, but it works for me, so that's kind of what I do. Get all those little kind of imperfections knocked out. Now I will say that when you go to let this dry, count on 48 hours of dry time. You're going to have 24 hours where it's just sitting down. You're going to go in after 24 hours and pick it up and be like, oh, it's nice and hard. But when you feel the bottom of it, it is not going to be dried out. It needs to flip over, and then you need to let that side sit and be exposed to air for another 24 hours. So that's what I did. After I got this all shaped, I let it dry for 24 hours, flipped it, and then another 24 hours. Now this piece is all ready to go, and what I want to do is I took kind of a sage green, and I'm going to paint the sides along with the lip of this tray. I am not going to paint the base as you're looking at it because we're going to do something else there. So just go all the way around. I only did one coat of paint. It did not take very long for it to dry. Grab yourself a decorative napkin. Now I'm making this fall theme. That's why I kind of think it's fun. You can make a couple of different themed trays. And I got this pack from Hobby Lobby. And what you want to do is you do want to separate out the plies of this napkin, like I think it's a 3-ply napkin. Well, yeah, it is. I take one of the pieces off, and then I go ahead and trim down my piece so that it will fit in a circle in the center of my little tray. And then I peel off that last piece of the napkin. The reason I do it that way is just because when I am trimming it, if you go ahead and take all the extra pieces off and then you go to cut it, I often will rip it because it's so delicate and small. So that's why I do it that way. Once you've done that, you want to take some Mod Podge. I'm using matte Mod Podge, and I'm going to paint a nice coat of that on the bottom of my little tray. Then taking that napkin, I'm just going to set it down on top of the Mod Podge and let it dry really, really good. This is the first time for me using UV resin. My good buddy Whitney from Whiskey and Wits, I've seen her use it many times, and I thought, okay, I want to try that. So I bought this little kit on Amazon. It was like $11, and it came with everything I needed. It came with the mat, the gloves, the resin. I mean, everything I possibly need. I was a little intimidated, but honestly, this was so easy. So all I did is I took the resin and I just started to apply a nice even layer on the resin. Now, if you start to get little bubbles, you might see little bubbles in there. If you get that, just take your heat gun and simply just run it over there and the bubbles will pop. Once I've got the resin in there, then I needed to take the UV light, which also came in that little kit, and I just set it really quickly with the UV light, and then the UV hardened, and it made it look like it had a glass bottom, which I absolutely loved. The finishing touch on this was I did take a gold paint pen and just kind of go around the edge of the tray, but this is just perfect. I mean, you could put your rings in it, you could put a bracelet in it, so many different options for this. You could make gifts. So I absolutely love how this turned out. It was so fun to do. Highly, highly recommend. This is the first time on my channel. So here I've got a free printable. You can grab this down below along with everything else in today's video. This one says Cozy Season, and then the bottom part says Fall Vibes. And then I've also got this Halloween version right here for you. Now what I did is I printed out about 8 sheets of these on 65-pound cardstock. Highly recommend using some lightweight cardstock versus just copy paper. It will be a lot sturdier. So the first thing you're going to have to do is make sure that you trim all of these down to the right size. And it was pretty easy. I just used my Fiskars paper cutter, got them all trimmed and lined up so that they would make a perfect little notepad. Now, you need to make sure that your notepad is lined up, particularly at the very, very top of your notepad. You want some heavy-duty binder clips. I'm going to use those towards the top, and you're going to need some Mod Podge. I like to use the glossy Mod Podge. You're going to end up painting 3 rounds of Mod Podge just on the very top of your notepad. So I just took a paintbrush, I did 1 coat, made sure it dried really good. Second coat, dry really good. Third coat, let it dry really good. Left those binder clips on there, and then I let it sit overnight so that it could be super sturdy, and that's it. You can easily rip off a page. Now you could go in and paint the top of your notepad if you wanted to. You could add some washi tape up there. I mean, there's a couple of different options of what you could do, but totally up to you if you want to make it decorative or not. But now you can make all kinds of fun notepads. These make great gifts and would be really good stocking stuffer ideas as well. Grab some fluffy yarn and a paper towel holder or a toilet paper holder. Now this yarn came from Michael's. I just had it in my stash. I'm down to the last little bit here. For your paper towel holder, if you're using one of those, you want to cut it in half and then cut those in half again. You'll end up with 4 pieces. If you're using a toilet paper roll holder, just simply cut it in half and you'll end up with 2 pieces. Once you've got those pieces, then what you want to do is take your scissors and you just want to cut little bitty snips at the bottom and the top of each of these little pieces of cardboard roll. Once that's done, then you're ready to start creating a cute little pumpkin. So take the end of your yarn, you want to stick a little bit of hot glue inside of your little tube, place the yarn on it, and then you're just going to start feeding the yarn through. So I wrap it around the outside, pull it up the middle, go to the next little section, wrap it around, pull it up in the middle, and I just keep doing that till it gets completely wrapped. Making sure that I'm kind of pushing down those little bitty flaps that I cut on the tube. So that's kind of will give you a little bit more of a rounded pumpkin shape, so to speak. Once that's all done, you get it all done, then the last thing you do is just secure the end of that yarn again into the center of this little tube. And then you need to add a stem. You could add a Jenga block if you wanted to. I have a ton of these little wood pieces from Dollar Tree that I just am continuing to use up. So I'm just going to stick one of those in there, and that's it. Now you could add a leaf to this. You could add some florals up top. You could add a tag to it. You could make a whole basket of these if you wanted to, different colors. But I absolutely love the whole little fuzzy vibe of these pumpkins. This project, you've got 2 options. You can grab this free printable that you can simply put in a frame. It is a fall bucket list. You could put it on a frame. You could laminate it and use it year after year if you wanted to, and just use like a expo marker on it. The other option is to do this, and that is to grab yourself a 5x7 canvas from Dollar Tree or wherever you want, and this transfer paper. This will go into any inkjet printer, And I absolutely love this paper. It works really well. One side of it is just, it says this like True Heat, has a label, and then there's a white side. So when you run it through your printer, you're going to run it to where it is printed on the white side. The only other thing you need to make sure of is if you're going to print this file, you need to make sure you reverse it. And usually that is in your printer settings. You should be able to find it there, where you just flip it so that it's actually all the text looks backwards like this. And once you've got that, you're ready to place that down on your canvas. And then all you need is an iron. Now, at first, I was like, I'm going to put it on the white side, and then I realized, no, I want to put it on the other side. So I did take the canvas completely off. That does make it a lot easier to take it off of the frame. And then once that was off, I simply set my piece down. I ironed it on really, really good, and then I peeled it off once it was nice and cool. Then it was just a matter of putting this back onto the frame. Now, originally I was going to use staples, and I started to use my staple gun only to realize my staples were too long and they were poking through. So I ended up just using some hot glue to secure this back onto the frame. But now I've got this cute little kind of work of art canvas. You could definitely do an 8x10. You could blow this up and have, you know, somewhere printed off for you and make a poster if you wanted to. I don't know. You could do many different things, but I just love the little size of this, and I just think it just kind of makes it a little more, I don't know, artsy because it's on a canvas. That will wrap up today's projects. Let me know which one of these was your favorite. Also, let me know this. If you had to choose one, would you choose candy apple? That's going to be the one with the hard kind of shell on it, or a caramel apple? Let me know down below. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Here are some more videos you might want to check out, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!